Olá,
Sejam bem-vindos ao
hoje é
vosso
sábado,
preferido da semana.
vamos fazer um vídeo.
Que vamos fazer um vídeo!
Yay!
Não.
Vamos jogar, como diz aqui no ecrã, a parábola de Stanley, ou como que diz em inglês, The Stanley Parable. Vamos jogar. É engraçado porque vocês provavelmente aqui em cima não devem ver as cenas do da história, mas aqui devem conseguir ver e ali, e eu não vou fazer mais porque é muito longe. Ele tem legendas e eu espero que esteja tudo bem.
Vamos lá.
Este jogo já é muito antigo e é engraçado. O Bota não conhece. Eu conheço algumas coisas, não muitas, mas vamos ver no que é que dá. É hora! Ai, não vou. Não
Vamos lá.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Until.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
E estamos no jogo.
Vamos lá.
Ih, meu, que sensibilidade tão alta. Interessa.
Vai.
Ele disse para eu sair, mas eu posso. Ih, cara, o gajo abaixa-se um bocado. Vamos então fazer o que ele nos disse para fazer?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Foram aos saltos. Sextas-feiras loucas. Aos sábados.
Ele não salta?
É.
Vamos então
Também querias
para a
tudo.
meeting room, diz?
Querias saltar, querias agachar, querias tudo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
E isto é uma das coisas que o jogo nos faz, que é deixa-nos tomar a decisão, mas diz-nos o que é que temos que fazer, mas deixa-nos fazer o contrário. Queres obedecer? É como quiseres.
Vamos pela esquerda, vamos pela esquerda. Ok.
Aqui o office muito bonito, não está cá ninguém, aqui uma plantinha. Que bonito.
Atrás.
Lá, não há. Meeting room.
Ok.
Tips not to get fired. Vocês já reparaste, mas isto é uma template própria do PowerPoint.
Eu sei, eu já falei.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ok.
Using slides to assure him. Pá, se vocês não percebem inglês, desculpem, mas isto tem piada. Ok? LOL. What do people want?
Prophets.
Ai, que caralho.
Ok, vamos lá. Então
Vamos lá,
agora
eu-
temos que ir para o boss, não é?
Temos
Para
que
a
ter
sala
com
do
o
boss.
chefe. Olha, chefe.
Não? Oi? É isso, mano. Mas entra, vê o que é que tem aí.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ok, pronto, se tu dizes. Dá para voltar atrás? Não. E se eu entrar outra vez, vais dizer alguma coisa? Diz que não há nada. Gosto que há.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Tá bem, pronto, eu
Então vamos
obedeço.
lá.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Dá sempre para escolher. Vamos obedecer agora aqui, pelo menos. Por uma
Porquê é que
primeira
não
vez.
descemos para ver o que é que tinha lá em baixo?
Queres descer?
Vamos descer. Já sei que o gajo vai começar a mandar vir então, outra vez. Para ver essa porta.
Lá.
Ui. Que é isso?
Vamos por aqui?
A parte do estacionamento.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Beat my
All
ride.
because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever
Deixe-me
he
sair.
went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Olha, estás mesmo?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
So true.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
Oh no.
After all, he knew for
Alguém
certain
deixou
beyond
cair
a
o café.
doubt that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that
Já estou
he
farto de
was
andar para a
in
frente.
control,
Tem
that
que
this
chegar.
was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently,
Tira só o
and he invited
anda
himself
para
to
a frente.
wake up.
Anda. Olha.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Não me cheira.
O gajo está todo possuído pelos demónios. O quê?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office.
Eu
I
tenho
am
uma
real.
sala.
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I
vamos
must be
ficar aqui no
real.
carro.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Então. Jumpscare.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Será um homem, agora uma mulher.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
What?
Mano, eu estou a ficar muito confuso com este jogo.
Parecia o Matrix, meu. Ok, aquilo eram os fins.
Pois, nós estamos...
Mesmo deep. Eu só queria descer as escadas. Queres tentar agora, tipo, normal?
Ok, vai.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
agora vamos
upstairs
subir.
to his boss's office.
Olá, não me despeça. Faz tipo um slide, repara.
Aqui.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
Shit.
not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Então, mas agora a gente sabe. Queres pôr um errado? Ou queres
Vamos
pôr
pôr
2, 3, 4?
ao contrário. 2, 8, 4, 5, 5, 4.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Então vamos pôr 2, 8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
Oh, shit.
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
What?
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Então vamos lá. Oh god. Vais lembrar o Portal, estamos a sair.
Mano, isto é o vértigo.
Estamos a sair de. Oh, não dá para ir por aqui. Lá. Não, vamos seguir por aqui. Oh não. Oh não.
Não vais para o início.
Descending deeper
Nope.
into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
Não me digas.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question
Eles agora
the
todos
nature
tipo
of his job.
numa capa.
When for years
Sonoro.
it had never occurred to him.
Ele então não foi
This
convidado para a
question
festa.
would not go unanswered for long.
Ui, Pikachu aqui.
Mind Control Facility. O quê?
Olha, já foste. Está tudo louco.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escolhe.
Eu ouvi passos, foste tu,
Fui
não?
eu. Sou eu.
É, vai para a frente, é para ficar maluco, é para ficar maluco.
Não queres escapar?
Não, ainda falta para ficarmos loucos da cabeça.
É?
É.
Oh, bonito.
Escuro. E é agora?
Luz?
Sim.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Consigo ver.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Olá?
E agora isto?
Não me lixe.
Câmaras?
Luzes, câmaras, ação. Haha.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
Hey.
bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Pô, já viste o que era? Trabalhas numa empresa que te controla assim desta maneira. Oh, isto é bonito.
Olha.
Isto não é bem a ação, mas... Nós éramos
O
qual? 427.
427, não é? Está aqui, olha.
Deixa eu ver se muda. É o nosso.
É o nosso, nós estamos lá. Agora é a altura em que vais lá
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
What?
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yeah.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Então nós agora vamos ser os bons da fita? E se eu for para aqui?
Ai, não dá, mano.
Ah,
Mas
dá.
está ali uma porta, está ali uma passagem.
Yeah.
Não é aí, atrás de ti? Ali, peraí.
Ali é Facility Power. Vamos lá. Ah, tem aqui um botão. E se eu carregar este botão? Não faz nada. Tenho um feeling que está para abrir aquela porta de alguma maneira. Mas bem, vamos aqui.
Olha,
então.
peraí, não. Aí. Tem ali outro número, ali, mas não deve ter nada. Ah, tem aqui números ali nas portas.
Pois tem, calma lá. Oh, é nisso, mas é para ali e está feito. Tatarã. Vamos ser controlados mentalmente por estranho. Oh, bonito.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Ok, então está a dizer que é off.
Queres desligar? Ele está a dizer para desligar. Desligamos?
Desligamos? Não vou
Tchau.
controlado. Nem que se susto. Ih, mano. É que nós não conseguimos ver nada.
Nós não é?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Estamos no mesmo sítio, só que está tudo escuro.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Vai acontecer alguma
And
coisa,
yet,
vai dar uma...
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Pera.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand,
Vai indo
but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth
Que gráficos
knowing.
fuleiros.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
Peraí,
Vou? Já foi.
Stanley felt the cool breeze
Nem pôde
upon
mexer.
his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
Stanley foi
This was
atropelado.
exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh.
Gay. Loading screen.
Acabou? Ok, acabou.
Calma.
Já, acabou. Ok. 2 finais um bocado diferentes. Um não morre, no outro... É feliz. Tá bom.
Mano, isto é um jogo muito estranho.
A cena é que há muitos finais por
Exatamente.
explorar. Eu sei deles, alguns pelo menos. Porque podíamos ter escapado, podíamos ter deixado aquilo ligado, podíamos ter ido pela porta da direita, podíamos ter... Não, já descemos as escadas. Sei lá, deve haver tantas maneiras.
Pronto.
Pronto,
Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Um vídeo um bocadinho diferente.
se quiserem que a gente explore os outros finais, digam.
Isto é tipo um filme. É
Yeah.
tipo um filme.
Queres explorar os outros finais? Ou...
Não, tipo, acho que está bom. Espero que vocês tenham gostado.
Fiquem bem.
E até ao próximo vídeo.